On the Chapter 5 test review sheet, this is problem number 13. And for some reason, these types of problems intimidate people, but I want to hopefully help you to not be intimidated when you see these problems, and you may very well see them in the future on ACT or in your future math classes. Let's just figure out what it is that this problem is asking for. Well, they give you this function, this R function equation, and I notice that it's a quadratic equation. So if this were graphed, remember, it's got to be a U-shape, or it's got to be a parabola because it's quadratic. And not only that, but this number in front of the quadratic term, this coefficient of the quadratic term, is negative. So not only is it a parabola, but it's an upside down parabola. Okay, well, it looks like this problem is asking for the part of this parabola that represents a maximum. Well, that means for a parabola, the maximum point, the highest point on this parabola, would be the vertex. Okay, so all you're really doing is thinking about, if you were graphing this function and it's in standard form, how would you find the vertex of this parabola? And going back to what we learned way back in section 5.2, we start off by finding the AOS. So for standard form, which is what this is, I'm just going to do the opposite of b over 2a. And we'll go ahead and label, remember this first number in front of p squared. So once again, the number in front of p squared is called a in standard form, and then the coefficient of the linear term will be labeled b. We don't have a c in this case, but we don't need the c in order to find the vertex. All right, so this is how we find the AOS, and so let's plug in the opposite of b, which is 1900, all over 2 times a, which a is negative 1/2. All right, so if you simplify this, the denominator becomes negative 1. 2 times negative 1/2 is negative 1. Okay, so we'll just show it like this so you can make sure you follow. So what I have as far as b over 2a would be negative 1900. But remember, we're doing the opposite of that. The opposite of negative 1900 is positive 1900. So price, which is what P refers to in this function, the price that will maximize revenue is $1,900. Okay, so just think about how you would find the AOS. And how would you then find the vertex from that AOS number? Well, if P is now 1900, and the follow-up question is, what is the maximum revenue, which is what R stands for? Well, it's pretty obvious, I hope, at this point. If you want to find R, you would just plug in your number for P, which we found out is 1900. So we'll find R by substituting 1900 in for P. All right, and you will be able to use your calculator for this. And so you should, I was going to go from memory, but I'm just going to grab my calculator real fast and make sure that I give you the right number. I think I remember it, but I just want to make sure. Okay, and we get 1 million, since it's dollars, $1,805 is the maximum revenue for that price. And that is your answers. That's a 2-part answer for number 13 on your Chapter 5 test review.